Happy Monday. Happy post-Masters Monday. Have we recovered?
Emotionally, no.
No, I'm still in a state of shock.
Yeah. I had a pretty bad headache last night.
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling you earlier on, I actually said to my mum's in town right now, and I said to her, she's like, is that relief? I'm like, no. I'm like, I feel terrible. Like, I literally feel terrible. I mean, I think there was a component of relief, but, at the same token, it felt like that was just a roller coaster that we all went on with Rory. I mean, can you imagine what that must have felt like to be him?
No, but I would say all the lows make you appreciate the highs, right?
I mean, you could see that in the 18th green. That was exactly what that was, wasn't it? That was an outpouring of every amount of grief that he's been through, and we've seen a little bit. The little bit that we saw on season 1 of Full Swing is a fraction of what went on at home.
Yeah.
You can imagine the doors that were ripped off the hinges, the kind of other things that may have happened, in sort of just emotion, raw emotion. Like that all came out on the 18th green.
It definitely makes it worth it, though.
Yeah.
I did say, if he went on and won it in 2018 or something.
Yeah, it wouldn't have quite had the same.
No, because that's just 3 or 4 years, and it's you got the monkey off his back. I feel like all of the pain, the runner-ups, the blowing it on Thursdays, the terribly going out early,
I know.
It's like having your heart broken so many times and finally finding your true love.
Yeah, no, I think there's loads of things like that. Like, you could have got to wonder with Rory, why is it taking him so long to figure out Augusta? And to me, I look at Augusta, you can't bring Augusta to its knees.
No.
And nobody can hold Augusta by the throat. It will have you by the throat. And if you try to play that way, I think that's why people like Scotty play it so well, because he's patient and he's relentless with the good shots and the good decision making. Rory definitely is not relentless with good decision making, as we saw yesterday.
Yeah. No,
that was the tough part.
But he's matured. And I feel like we saw his maturity. He's letting the golf course come to him. He has the distance and he hits it so far that he doesn't have to play aggressive. If he just plays normal, that's already other people's aggressive.
Yeah.
And so finally it's just let the golf course come to you, relax on the double bogeys, move forward, every single hole, just keep taking it. It was exhausting, and I'm sure that there must have been moments, if he was being honest, he had to have thought that he was blowing it again.
Without a doubt. I mean, he probably didn't think that on 1, but he definitely thought it in 13.
Yeah.
I mean, that stat was so ridiculous that, no Masters champion has ever made 2 double bogeys in 1, and he made 4. Yeah. Right? But he rewrote the record books in many ways. Yeah. He made 33s. That's insane.
I know.
30.
He had 33s over 72 holes? Well, yeah, I guess on Saturday it was 3-3-3-3-3, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. I do feel, I didn't feel it last night, I really didn't feel it last night, but I do today feel sorry for Justin. Yeah. I didn't feel that last night though. I was just, my only emotion was relief for Rory to get that done. But today I feel something for Justin today.
Do you think he gets one still because he's playing so well, or no? It's just no.
No, I think he's one and done. US Open and done. You?
He still has a chance at the Open. He's still got a chance at the Masters, like we talked about that earlier. The older you get, you still can work your way around those 2 golf courses. PGA and US Opens are getting harder and harder.
Padraig Harrington has a really interesting take on this. That he thinks people's careers, the peak of their career is really fit into about an 18-month window. He said most players have got about 18 months. He said he had it, Jordan Spieth had it, Brooks Koepka kind of had it when he was on his major run where he won that streak. He said there's been a few people who have bucked the trend, Tiger and Jack, and the greats buck the trend, but generally speaking, the average golfer has a peak in their career where maybe they're collecting a couple of majors and stuff like that, and it only lasts about 18 months, and the rest is all kind of mediocre. And Rosie, to kind of have that US Open, 2012 at Merion, I think it was
I don't
2012.
remember, yeah.
You know, for him to have back-to-back seconds 13 years on is very rare. So history would kind of tell you that that's unlikely he has many other chances.
Yeah, but he's playing well right now. I don't know.
He's playing well. But we talked about it earlier.
His putting on Saturday was a tough watch.
Was not. That's not going to be it.
And I know that every player in the field has like their moments. Rory had them as well. Like at the end of it, I don't think anyone had their best stuff. Like nobody who won yesterday was going to say like I had my best stuff all week. It was like a combination of everyone. Yeah. Riding their highs of the B game and riding the lows of the C game, right?
I mean, Rory should have had that tournament by how many? Could have been loads.
Yeah.
Could have been 6 or 7, really. I mean, he probably played as good as anyone has ever played right around there. And I know Dustin has the lowest score at 19 under, but that wet Masters, that was November wet Masters. I mean, I think that is an asterisk. You know, Tiger obviously 18 under in 2017. I think that Rory performance might be the best golf. I mean, I wasn't there for any of the Jack ones, so I don't know what that was like. But I think that golf Rory played, especially Saturday, Sunday. And if you take out 2 chip shots, the chip shot on 15 and the pitch shot at the back at 17, it's not even, you know, the first round was great. He would probably would have posted 5 or 6 under that day.
Yeah.
I mean, he could almost have got it to 15, 16, 17 under through 3 rounds.
Just gonna look. What did he shoot on day 1?
72.
Yeah.
So he was 4 under playing 15, hits the 15th and 2, and then obviously goes on to make double, which is, you know, was a mess. And then he doubles 17 again from nowhere, mess. You know, just that was. But to bounce back and go 6 under was just like, I'm on. You know, I don't care what's happened to me. I'm on. It was like, you know, to a lesser extent when Tiger shot 40 on the front 9 the year he won in 2017, he was like, well, I'm still playing great. You know, he had shot 59 the week before at Isleworth, so he knew he was playing great. It made no difference. He just went out and, you know, shot 30 in the back that day. But
I feel like he had to.
Yeah.
Like he had to show resilience.
Totally.
Did you guys press on the ring?
No, we didn't know.
It was like this was collectively becoming a classic Rory, and it was like, can he show resilience? Thursday, I was kicking myself because I took him in fantasy, and I'm like, here he goes again. Then Friday comes back, like I was just going like this all weekend long.
I know. It was crazy. What did you think of Bryson and kind of his showing?
I mean, you shoot the scores, so there's no luck.
Yeah.
But he was making bombs. He was making putts that you just can't. We talked about it, you can't sustain that.
It's not sustainable.
Like, the 18th hole on Saturday, he made a bomb to get into the last group, right?
Yeah.
Or was he already in the last group? Maybe.
Would he have been?
Either way, it was like they kept showing up, and I was like, if he can do this again on Sunday, but it's hard.
It definitely is hard. He had the second worst proximity of anyone who had made the cut. I mean, that's not going to do it at the Masters. Yeah. Historically, Augusta is a second shot golf course. That's what your approach play dictates generally the people who win. You have to average somewhere north of 50 greens in regulation. Rory historically was 42 greens in regulation at the Masters. So historically, second place, or second shots are the thing. And Bryson was missing. Like you saw his second shot into 15 on the Saturday. He missed it by the width of the green. On that 15th hole, that's a wide green.
Yeah.
You know, he kept turning those. Hooking. Yeah. I just think that, you know, he just kind of had a bit of that in him, and he was struggling to sort of contain the shape on it. But yeah, guys, thank you. Sorry for joining us. We've just went off there on our thoughts on it, but love to hear from you guys in the comments. Yeah, it was quite incredible. Sudsy's saying, tough one for Justin, such a humble guy, fun to watch him throughout the years. I mean, there isn't one other player that if Justin was up against him, I would have said, you know, I still want that guy to beat Justin. No, Rory was the only one. For me,
like
personally.
Friends, Ryder Cuppers together
totally,
and stuff,
totally.
Which also, I don't know what he said to him on 18, but I felt bad for him.
I think he just
But he handled it with grace. Like he was
Yeah.
like, "This is Rory's moment," and then he like left the picture, and I was like, "That's a good person more than just a good player, more than a good friend."
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, Rosie, unbelievable performance, 10 birdies in yesterday's round. I mean, he still had his few wobbles and mistakes. Unfortunately, from 17, but he obviously counters that one with a
18
a
birdie.
monster in 18, so it kind of does cancel each other out. But LP Cheeky's saying, yeah, Justin's second loss in a playoff at the Masters. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say this, right? Do you think somewhere in Rory's mind he was thinking, Justin's a bit of a bridesmaid, not a bride. This is probably a good person to play in a playoff?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit?
I honestly don't know what was going through his mind.
Yeah. I think, like you said earlier, though, when Harry Diamond, they were going to the playoff and Harry said to him, we would have taken this at the start of the week. Let's go get this thing.
One hole.
Right? We take on, one man over one hole, we can beat anyone. I think that's the thing. Like, he just, in his mind, he knew he just had to beat, one man over one hole.
Yeah.
I thought the mental strength to hit that tee shot again as good as he did.
They both hit great tee shots.
Amazing tee shots. I mean, amazing. Like Rosie only had 157, 158. It still looked like he hit a bit of a, he hit a great shot, but it still looked like it was like probably 8 iron, something like that. I mean, obviously, Rory's just flipping in a 3/4 gap wedge that he landed middle of the green and zipped it back. It was
the pessimist in me was like being like, Rose is gonna drain this putt.
I know, I did as
and
well.
Rory's gonna miss one more shorty, and this is just gonna be once again.
Yeah.
But imagine teeing it up and just knowing like this is another career-defining moment.
Yeah.
Like he started on Sunday being like, this is either gonna be the worst day of my golfing career, or it's gonna be the happiest day of my golfing career.
Rory?
There was no in between.
Yeah.
Like up until that moment, there's no bigger. You know what I mean? Like he's already done the collapse, but he's put himself back in the situation.
Yeah.
So it's either going to be his worst or his best.
Totally. I mean, like I was saying to you guys, to me, I felt like watching Rory this week was like watching all 3 movies of The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And Rory is Frodo starting out with this thing that is the burden of the Masters, that he doesn't, like he wants to win the Masters, but he doesn't really, the burden is getting a bit overwhelming. And if you've watched The Lord of the Rings and as that whole plays out, that's what it just looked like on his face.
Yeah.
The burden of it and all the, him and like his relationship to Bob Rotella, is kind of like the Gandalf role of like, you've got to guide this person through something that really without them, they're probably not capable of doing. Rotella's voice to help him sort of navigate that through. And then you've got like Shane on Saturday night turn around and go, like, don't talk to me about Rory. I don't want to hear about Rory. I'm not here. I want to win this thing. I'm not interested in somebody else winning this. It's his best friend in the world. But the Masters means so much. It's not that he turned on Rory. He just he didn't care for Rory in that way at that time. And I thought that was fascinating as well. It's just the most incredible golf event.
Yeah. There's
It really
there's nothing even remotely close to it.
No, and just watching like the pain leave his body on the 18th green. Like I said to my family, I'm like, it was like watching somebody go through an exorcism.
Yeah.
It was like the Augusta demon, when he was screaming like that, the veins were coming out his neck. Like, it was like an outer body experience, and the demon of Augusta left his body.
Before he hit that putt,
Yeah.
there was part of me also being like, wow, what's the celebration going to be if he makes it? Right? And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I definitely didn't have just like breakdown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I did.
did?
I thought it was
know.
full collapse.
I didn't know like what it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a hand and like a little cry like that,
Go back and watch that putt he hit.
It kind of looks low.
Dude, he whiffed it. I'm telling you, he whiffed it. Like he's hit it on the bottom edge of the blade.
Yeah.
I watched the Sky Sports breakdown afterwards, and Paul McGinley was giving Brad Faxon kudos for his work with Rory in the putting, and he said, what are some of the things you guys have worked on? And he said, centeredness of contact, centeredness of ball, and all this sort of stuff. He's like, Rory's got a bit of a tendency to hit it low in the blade.
Because he lifts up the putter. That's what he did at the U.S. Open. There's also a picture of him on 72 where, like, this is the ball.
Yeah.
and this is the blade, you
Like
can
the
see
blade-
the
the
takeaway.
blade
The
has
blade's
really
like
got that
really high, and then he just yanks it. That didn't even hit the hole on 72.
No. And like, when he hit that, I'm like, I honestly thought he'd semi-whiffed the putt because the blade was so high and he didn't make solid contact. I'm just like, oh my God.
I know.
But do you ever get the feeling, I get it, sometimes on tee shots or putts, like I could have an involuntary yip.
Yeah.
Like I could literally, like, just, it's so sharp, I could like
Yeah.
yip it. I always get that feeling. And then, like, I don't know why, I thought yesterday, I'm like, he could do something, have a, like, an outer body experience and just do something crazy here.
I'm definitely happy he birdied it too.
Yeah.
Because you hate when there's like a playoff and some guy throws it in the trees and then it's boring, right? Like he had a putt to win it all.
Yeah. Crazy. All right, let's dive into some. What did you guys think? Stephen's asking, do we think Rory would have won if they went to 10 in a playoff?
Well, that's the next hole they would have gone.
They would have went 18-10, 18-10, I think. Yeah, I mean, Rory had birdied 18 earlier in the day, even though he dropped his club after he hit his second shot. It's a bit of a weird one, but I still would have favoured him.
Yeah.
Still would have probably favoured him to sort of get that done, Stephen, I think.
I guess is he asking because I think that's the hole that's where he collapsed in his first time, 2011, right? That's where he was like in the cottages.
Well, I think that demon, if you want to call it that, if I keep calling it that, but I think he had sort of like managed that on regulation. Because he had a 4-shot lead on the 10th tee, the same as he did in 2011. And he talked about, because this must have all got on his head, he said, Angel Cabrera had left him a note in his locker. Did you see that he said that? And that was who he played with on that last day on 2011. So he thought that was a bit symbolic. Yeah, I mean, I think he would have been okay with that playing a 10 again.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's also been so many years.
Yeah. I didn't hear Hans is saying Bryson stating some equipment issues. Thought it was a ridiculous statement being second place after 3 days and hooking it into the pond. I didn't hear him say anything about his equipment. I wonder what he said, Hans. If I didn't hear that, I'd be curious what he was talking about. He moans a lot about his equipment, though. He always has. What did you make of the Rory didn't talk to me quote? Or was he misquoted? Or what do you think of that was?
I don't think Bryson was trying to make it something personally.
Right.
Like I think that you're trying to win a major championship. You're out in twosomes. It's not Thursday. I think Min Woo said on one of the Instagram posts, he was just like, this happens all the time. You're on different sides of fairways. You don't talk a ton.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, there's a chance there's like a little bit of head games. Like maybe Rory was like, I'm going to ice this guy. Very first hole, he walked in front and pointed.
I didn't like that.
But you know what I mean?
I mean, he's literally, I know.
And it came back to bite him because he made double.
Yeah. I could see why somebody could do that. In that just to gain that competitive edge. It's kind of like a bit embarrassing if your playing partner has to kind of give it the point in the four.
Yeah.
But I mean, Little's ball landed in the rough. I mean, it wasn't a bad shot. It wasn't that bad.
I think that even if you have, I don't think they like each other, but even if there's two people that have like a little bit of tension, and I was in that situation, I would probably be like, I don't want any distractions. I'm just going to ignore this person. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. And they're such opposites in many different ways that I really think that, Rory is kind of just bounces along, does his own thing. Bryson thrives on the fan interaction, whereas Rory all week just said, I want to stay in my bubble. I want to stay in my bubble. So I don't think it was anything aimed directly at Bryson. I don't think he would have wanted to talk to Bryson.
No.
But I think if it was John Rahm, he wouldn't have talked to him either.
No.
I don't think he would have talked to really anyone.
You think he would have talked to Shane?
No.
You think, or they just would have been like,
yeah,
hey, buddy,
you do your job, I'll do mine today, and let's catch up for a pint afterwards. I think that's the way it would have been. I really do. So, I think, I don't know, Bryson, even though he was asked the question, I think he came across a bit sour afterwards. I think Bryson thought he would crush Rory yesterday. I do. I think he thought that he was, like, he just had that kind of pep in his step that he, felt like, I've done this guy at Pinehurst and I'm going to do him again. You remember back to the match?
Yeah.
You remember what he said to him?
You kind of beat yourself.
Yeah, he said, they asked Rory, like, you want to get revenge on Bryson? And he said, yeah, I want to get revenge for what he done to me at the US Open. And then Bryson said, well, you kind of done it to yourself. And he just shut him down. I do think there's a little bit of needle, which is great for golf. Live, PGA Tour, Bryson, Rory.
Yeah.
Like, amazing.
Gotta keep your mouth shut, though. Some of these guys talk themselves into problems.
Yeah. He'll come back to
when he said whatever, he's like, it's a par 67. He was like, okay, Bryson's not going to have success there for another handful of years because that's just like, anytime people talk themselves into something.
There's an interesting one from Sudsy. PGA Tour, and I'll put in bracket or quote marks, needs Bryson back on tour, in my opinion. Does the PGA Tour need Bryson? That's a different question from, would the PGA Tour be a better product if Bryson was on it? Do they need, are they struggling without Bryson? My opinion is no. Like, PGA Tour has been, the numbers have been flying this year.
Bryson's flipped for me. To be honest, Rory I'd become less of a fan of, you know what I mean?
I think lots of people are in the same boat as you.
And Bryson went from, the world's biggest enemy to all of a sudden, kind of always just quirky and people are forgiving him. But I think about all the live guys, there's not many of them. The tour doesn't need Cam Smith. I know he's a good player and stuff, but who outside of Joaquin, Brooks, Bryson, Rahm?
Yeah.
Outside of those, who would the PGA Tour be willing to pay? Not that they're going to pay them or whatever, but who would they need?
Yeah, need.
And you could argue that they don't need any of those four.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a better product with them in it, but need is a strong. I don't think the PGA Tour needs Bryson.
No.
I think.
Do I want Bryson? Yes, because I find him hysterical and great to watch, and especially when they're playing lower caliber golf courses, just an average event. It's cool to watch him just go hit 400 yards and take crazy lines and stuff, right?
I would potentially argue Bryson needs the PGA Tour more than the PGA Tour needs Bryson. I think it would be actually better for Bryson's career in the long run if he was playing against Rory and Scotty and those guys week in, week out. I think it would actually be more beneficial for Bryson than it would be for the tour.
Yeah.
Personally.
You could also argue he's maybe one of the only ones that has thrived under live. I know that some live golfers have won majors, but maybe less events and full camera access and stuff has allowed him to be himself, has created his brand where people like him again, and he's got a U.S. Open out of it.
That's a good point. Very good point.
Versus some of these other guys like Rahm and stuff, they don't look that happy.
Yeah. No.
And they're not showing up and being that in contention.
Well, I mean, I do believe there's no smoke without fire. And the whole Koepka, really wants to be back on the PGA Tour. I believe he does.
Yeah.
Even though he never really tried that hard in PGA Tour events anyway. And he is the guy who with the most live wins, I believe. I think he's still a little ahead of Wako Neiman. But, yeah, I think it's fascinating anyway.
They were sold something that they thought would be a lot different 3 years later. And they're sitting in a similar situation.
All right, let's see. Freddie's asking, so Masters is a beautiful thing. Folks often have trademark drinks they drink to accompany these special golf events. Do you have any special Masters traditions? And if so, why?
So that's my friend, Freddie.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I don't know why he's on this. That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
I was drinking some azaleas.
What's that? What's an azalea?
It's like lemon juice.
Okay.
Grenadine. It's basically sugar in a glass. But it's grenadine, lemon juice, and not lemon juice, lemonade. Right. Grenadine, vodka.
Oh, wow. Sounds pretty good.
It's a nice little pink drink. Yeah.
How are you, azalea? Do I have any Masters traditions? This is going to sound terrible. My only Masters tradition is that I have the TV for the week. Yeah. I have full, kids, go somewhere else. Yeah. The kids are crying upstairs, I'm not going. I'm watching the Masters. And I'm like you. Like I'm watching the pre-round coverage, I'm watching the round, and I'm watching everything afterwards.
Yeah.
Like it's a full week event, and it well more than that now. It goes Sunday to Sunday because I do the same for drive, chip, and putt. So that's the only thing is just like I don't want to be disturbed from the TV for a week.
And how good is the app?
Insane.
So after on Saturday,
Insane.
I had a little bit of time to kill. My wife was doing something. I literally just clicked on Bryson, watched every shot that he played all the way through, and I clicked on Rory and watched every shot, and I was like, okay, now I'm like really prepped for tomorrow.
I know.
Like to rewatch it back to back to back, you kind of get a good sense of where they're heading, right?
This is a tough one. Bailey's asking, does Rory's Grand Slam have an asterisk next to it given that Taylor Gooch hasn't been in the field for any of the major wins? Oh, that's good. That is good.
A tradition I would like to start, if my son is into golf when he's older, I'll be like, you know what, Thursday, Friday, Masters Week, we don't go to school. You get to hang out with me as a high schooler.
Dude, like yesterday, so my kids are 5 and 3. Like Harper was asking me, she's the youngest, so she was asking me, she's like, because I was shouting in the house, like, come on, Rory, come on, Rory. I was clapping, and she was loving it. So she was going around going, come on, Rory. And then Noah was like, Daddy, can we go to Augusta? And I was like, well, if you can get yourself to drive, chip, and putt, we'll be going to Augusta. So I started telling them, I was showing them what drive, chip, and putt is. I was like, look, these are kids that are a little bit older than you, and they get to play at Augusta. I was like, would you like to do that with Daddy? He's like, yeah, can we do it? I'm like, up to you, kid. Put in the work. So I was already priming them for drive, chip, and putt. But I just, I love, because I think they can see a shift in like the amount of times both the kids came yesterday during that final round and gave me they thought I was upset.
Yeah.
They thought like I was genuinely upset because like Rory'd miss a putt or hit it in the water or something. And I'd be like upside down on the sofa and they're like, it's okay, Daddy.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be okay. Did Rory hit a bad shot? And it's like, they could see it. So in their little brains, like this is going to mean something to them down the line, which I love.
Yeah.
I love that.
I must have said 10 times over the last 4 days, like, just show resilience, Rory.
Yeah.
Show me some resilience.
Oh, he did.
For once.
He did. He absolutely showed it, man. Bob saying, most would agree Rory is the best player in the world, but Scotty is number one. At their best, Scotty hadn't got the dynamicism of Rory, but is likely to grind you to death for a win. So let's debate that one for a second. Who is the number one player in the world right now?
I think it's still Scotty. But he's not. He hasn't done anything this year. He hasn't won anything. I think that Rory's in some of these elevated events, as well as the majors, if Rory gets one or two of those and Scotty's not doing anything, he could actually, I think, I don't know how the actual World Golf Rankings
I would
works,
actually
but
want to see that. I actually would love to see. Can you double check that? Just see what the World Golf Rankings are. I think Rory is the world number one.
It's a 2-year
right
schedule, right?
Yeah, I think winning at Pebble Beach, Sawgrass, and the Masters, I think that takes you above. You know, he's had a better start really than anyone.
So I'm looking back at basically what's going to drop off.
Right.
So Rory's in second now.
Yeah,
He's got
been
T3,
second for a bit.
T2, T3, 3, T4,
So go
T3.
to current world ranking. Current world rankings. I want to see points wise. Yeah, Rory, he still has a bit of a lead, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. I mean, they're well ahead of Xander.
Yeah.
But that's probably, to be honest, that's probably another 6 months of good play before he can overtake Scotty on that. That's interesting. I would say to me, Rory today, as of today, is world number one. I think Scotty's game is not where it was last year. I think his putting looked really, really good this week. Mm-hmm. I think he was at times great with his iron play, but you know there was definitely parts of his game that were not there.
Well, he still was only 3 back.
He still was only 3 back.
Like that's the other thing is Scotty also gets. They both get it, but they
Yeah.
get. I think Rory has the ability to eject more, and right now Scotty's bad.
Yeah,
Is like pencil him in for a T5 where it doesn't look like he's going to win it.
it's true. It's very true. But I mean, Rory had a bunch of top fives at the Masters that kind of looked a bit like Scotty's. Like, Scotty was never really in the event. I think Rory's, like, if you look at where were they through 9 holes yesterday? Scotty was where?
Yesterday?
7. So Rory was 7 shots ahead of Scotty with 9 to go.
Yeah.
You're not really in the event at that point. At the end, it's only 3 because one, had a good finish and one had a terrible finish. So Rory had a bunch of those kind of backdoor, top fives. That to me is what it felt like for Scotty this week. And I didn't really feel like he was in it. What are you laughing at?
Dave Fogels.
What's Dave saying?
Rory respects the law.
Yeah, exactly. As saying, Justin Rose looked genuinely content with Rory winning it. You think so?
Face. He's probably happy for his friend.
I think he's happy
upset.
for his friend. Yeah, agreed. I
got a question for the followers. Do you guys believe Rory can now go on like a huge run? Like he's got the monkey off the back. How many is he going to this year?
Is he blowing the lid off it now?
I mean, the pressure's not there, so if he just allows himself to play free like that.
Yeah, no, What I'd love to hear if you guys think that Rory is going to go on a tear. I mean, we talked about it a month ago.
I know.
Right, we were looking up his odds for the Grand Slam.
Which they weren't very
300?
good.
Was that what we said? No.
3,000?
No, it was 300 to 1.
I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. It was like, or was it even that much? Maybe it wasn't even that much. It wasn't great anyway. For the Grand Slam, it really wasn't that great.
Yeah.
I think he picks up multiple this year. I think he at least picks up one more. My sneaking suspicion is the next one isn't. No, the next one is the one.
Quail.
And then he goes into. Then he goes into Oakmont. I think Oakmont could be the challenge for him. And then I think, can you imagine if he picks up one in Ireland? I mean, he could literally have. Was he already got 3 wins this year? How many did Scotty get last year? Was it 8 or something?
Yeah, a lot.
8 plus in Olympics. And they were talking about that being like Bubba Watson just said, I think ridiculously that was the best year of all time. I don't think it was the best year of all time, but
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah.
7 plus the Olympics.
It looks
so
like that.
8. So, I mean, if Rory's already got 3 and he picks up another major in 2 other PGA Tour events, so he maybe gets like 2 majors in 6 events overall, 7 events. I mean, probably the Tiger Slam year was probably the only better year. I mean, if Rory picks up 2 majors and a couple other PGA Tour events, that's better than Scotty's year last year, in my opinion.
Yeah, we still got to do that.
Yeah,
he could also disappear and get too content with the Masters or start putting pressure on himself.
No way. I think that's the whole point of why he's built his swing, rebuilt his swing to this point. Like, I was watching some old footage yesterday. It's actually a friend of mine posted it on Instagram, and the way his golf swing was looking, the way his arm got deep and his wrist got so cuppy, he looked like that at the top. His face was so weak. His golf swing got in a bad spot. Like, he needed that time that he done at the end of last year to like go into those simulators, no screens on, and just swing reps.
Yeah.
Like, he has benefited so much from doing that.
Yeah.
It's a good lesson for anyone. Take some time just to focus on your mechanics, then go play with it. It's good. Joe's asking, where does this tournament rank in your all-time list in terms of tournaments you've watched?
I mean, mine are still Masters, but it's got to be Tiger's win.
97?
No.
Oh, 19?
Yeah.
That was better. That was better for you than this one?
I think so. It's tough to remember because it was 6 years ago or whatever. But that one felt very similar in the sense that Rory's was all this time had passed. Can he do it? It's so hard to get the monkey off the back, that kind of thing. Tiger's was, I don't know, you think about like him falling to his knees and like the amount of surgeries and then all these kind of things, and like he actually came back and did it after people wrote him off.
Yeah.
People were like, he'll never walk again, he'll never play golf again, he'll never do this again. It
was a remarkable feat. And let's remember, yesterday the playoff was at 11 under, Tiger shot 13. That tournament, like he literally bettered the score yesterday.
And then there was something also special. I think it's on like Golf Channel or something. There's like a documentary about it. But people are like, people always say you want to go up against Tiger on the back nine.
Yeah.
And it's like, the hell you do. And then they literally show like Koepka, Spieth, like all these people that just crumbled around him, and he just came out of the fire like
Totally.
That was special because it was, he wasn't in control going into the 12th hole. And then it was basically one by one, he picked them off.
It was
mentally.
Molinari, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Molinari had the tournament, through 9 holes, and then he made a bit of a mess at 12. He obviously hit the overhanging branch on 15, and
that's another guy, Molinari.
Yeah.
18 months of
18 months. Isn't that a fascinating one?
Yeah.
When you look at people's careers and, that 18-month window, I find that fascinating.
Martin Keimer too?
Martin Keimer,
He went through that phase where I feel like he was...
PGA in his US Open, and then he's gone, isn't he?
Did he win TPC as well?
He did, yeah. He won Sawgrass as well. I mean, this is his only PGA Tour ever. His only ever PGA Tour wins are 2 majors and a Players.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers. It's a Hall of Fame career, and he's never won a PGA Tour event outside that. Crazy. To me, that was my favourite Masters ever.
Yeah.
That was my favourite ever that I've ever watched. I thought it was just incredible. I do think there'll be a bit of a lull in golf now, though, in terms of, and Rory said, like, what's the storyline now? I do think there'll be a bit of a lull in terms of, like, what do we talk about next? I mean, Spieth is the one still in the career Grand Slam, but he's not close to winning a major, though. Like, Rory's really he's been still close to winning majors. I don't feel like Jordan's in the realm of winning a major anymore.
Yeah, he didn't look like he was in the realm of winning a major during all of his major wins, hitting the ball everywhere. That's his game.
No, it wasn't. If you go back and watch it, his ball striking stats back then were much better.
I just remember like the Open. I think he was like out on the driving range, taking a line over like
at that time. You're right. At that time he did, but around the 14, 15, 16 time, his ball was very much in control. He's way quicker than he was then.
Yeah.
Like he's now like a high 170s ball speed guy. He's but he hit his irons very good back then, and obviously his putting was anyone's superpower.
Who's next on the list that Rory could pass?
Faldo. Well, no. So he's on a list right now with guys like Koepka, Seve. Who else is on 5 majors? You bring up there. I'll grab another couple. I love that. Imagine how many majors he wins if he had with a lab putter in the bag. It's amazing. I want one of those TaylorMade Spider X putters so bad. So bad.
So basically he has to get to like 9 to start beating Hogan, Player, Tom Watson, and then there's a Phil, Faldo, all these guys at 6.
Everyone is
Palmer at 7.
Everyone's a know-all in time, right? Because they can go, I always said this. When people said when Rory was really young, he was like the next Tiger Woods, I'm like, he's not the next Tiger Woods. He doesn't close like Tiger Woods closes. I said at the time, he'll have a major career like Tom Watson, not like Tiger or Jack Nicklaus. And I think if you looked at it now, I mean, that was like literally the start of his career. If you said to Rory he got between 8 and 10 majors from here, that's a great haul.
Like getting 5 more, or you think 8 more?
No, between 8 and 10 in total. So I think if he gets somewhere between 3 and 5 more, I think he would look at that. And where would that take him on the list? Like above Hogan? Yeah, just above Hogan. I think if he got to 10 and he was only, I mean, Walter Hagen, right? I mean, nobody will give that one much because it's just so long ago. But I think you could give Gary Player, Ben Hogan, Tom Watson, you could give them a little bit more daps just because obviously they played in a strong era.
Yeah.
All of them played in a strong era. If Rory got to say he gets to number 4, I mean, that's an unbelievable career, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unbelievable career. I mean, yesterday I saw a couple of Irish sportsmen saying the greatest sportsman or woman ever to come from our island
Oh,
yeah. I mean, that you've got to say that now. Somebody winning the career Grand Slam,
Yeah.
you know, that you're already Ireland's best ever. I think that's a big accolade, which is interesting.
Do you think that this creates a freedom in him, or do you think that he's going to chill?
No, freedom and more drive. I got such an insight during Full Swing this year, especially the Shane and Rory episodes, where Shane was talking about, like, he's relentless. He does this every day. And he's asking Rory, like, do you ever take a day off? He's like, no, never.
Yeah.
And I think that was an insight into me. He's like, this guy is relentless. And that's why yesterday was so much. So I don't see, outside of Scotty, I don't see Xander ever sustaining anything like a wave of form that really gets in Rory's way. So I think what it's going to be is, like, I think Scotty and Rory will duke it out over the next 6 years, maybe. You know, maybe a little bit longer. And, you know, there could be some epic majors ahead.
Yeah. And then sprinkle in some...
Yeah, sprinkling some
guys
others
who are having their 18-month hot streak and they win 2 of them or 1 of them. And
but looking back in golf now, looking into those rankings that we had up a second ago, who is that? That's what I'm struggling a bit with right now in golf. Like Morikawa, Ludwig, yes. Justin Thomas coming back. Who's going to come from, like, Bryson? Like, Bryson will show up at a few more. Who else?
I think Bryson's probably still going to get another one this year.
This year? I think so. Interesting.
Because he works so hard,
Yeah,
and
he
I feel
does.
like he knows internally that yesterday didn't go his way. He's going to hit 1 billion golf balls.
Yeah, agreed.
And make sure that he's primed for these long golf courses.
Yeah.
Like, as much as they're built for Rory's game,
Mm-hmm.
the US Open and PGA, you could also argue Bryson could play around there.
Totally. Guys, apologies. We're talking a lot, and there's loads of questions coming in. I'm going to try. Like, if we've missed your question, we've missed loads. If you don't mind, repost. I'm going to go straight to the most recent questions, if you don't mind. This is actually, I'm going to catch us before I do that. Where's my part? Ian, do you think Bryson would benefit from being less upright? Always seems to struggle when not in the flat. The place I've always thought he struggled the most with these upright, long, short irons that he's got, or like they're long lofted irons. I always thought it was the chipping. But I don't actually think that he struggled with the chipping at all this week. His chipping was amazing.
That was the thing that saved him.
It was absolutely what saved him. So, yeah.
I mean, golf's hard, right? When you start
So
focusing
hard.
on something else, the other thing leaves you, you know what I mean? You
Well-
hit the driver great for
Yeah.
a round, and then you're like, oh, I'm a good iron player, and then that's your worst iron day. Like, that's the thing.
I think they were saying there's no cameras up on the 13, or no, there's no cameras or something, but there's mics up on 13, and it's where a lot of the time players will maybe like say or do something. It's like because they get a bit of freedom. And Bryson turned to his caddy and he said, "Dude, I'm just playing bad." Like he knew it himself. Like he wasn't playing well. So even coming into it, and as I said to you, I was having that little bit of an argument with the guy at the golf club before the final round. And I'm like, you don't show up to the final round of the Masters and you don't have your ball striking with you and get it done. You just don't. You know, it's, you know, he was always going to pull some incredible shots out. He drives it so far that if he connects on a par 5 like he did on kind of, I guess, 15, did he have a good one down 15? I think he did. Obviously, great one down 2. What did he do? 13, he had a great drive on 13. Hit it perfect down there. Like, yeah, he's going to make birdies, but he didn't have a good long game with him the whole week. His iron play was dreadful.
His iron play was good at the US Open.
Where was the US? Well, last year?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Where was that? Where was the US Open last year? Last year's US Open was
Pinehurst, no?
Pinehurst. Yeah, I guess it was. It must have been. I don't really remember much of it, but back to me saying I don't think you can win a major without good iron play. It must have been. His proximity must have been pretty damn good. All right, I'm going to get all the way caught up.
2 minutes?
Pinehurst number 2, yeah. Bryson said irons will be changed, so that's what he was maybe moaning about. But he's been trying to get those LA golf irons in the bag for ages. Those ones with the.
I don't think he played with them, did he?
No, he didn't. No, he's still in the Voda ones. Loads. Bailey's asking, do we think him changing irons so often is a factor? I mean, it doesn't help. It doesn't. It does not help. So I don't know. I don't know.
I think he just played poor. And you know what?
Yeah, he did.
To be more of an apologist on his end, he's allowed to do that because he's been winning U.S. Opens and stuff. Like, he's allowed to have a bad Sunday.
This will come across a little controversial, I think.
Okay.
He's not that good.
Bryson?
No.
No.
He's good, but he's not generational talent good, right? So I think Bryson's haul at the end of the day, if he gets to where Brooks is, 5, you know, that's an unbelievable effort if you're Bryson. I think. I don't think Bryson to me has always been a streaky player. He plays well in bursts. Like if you get him going good, he's probably dangerous within that 2-3 month spell, and then the likelihood is he'll fall off again. Like he's a top 10 player. I don't feel like he's a top 5 player, in my opinion.
Right. But I don't think he's like, I could see what you're saying, but also the argument could be made streaky wise. Like he did win the USAM, won the NCAAs.
Yeah. He's
got majors. You know what I mean? So like when he gets hot, he can beat a field.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Like if you catch him in the right window of the season, like cause you know he's done that in the past where he's won tournaments and it's like he's really going to kick on, and then it's like 2 months later he's nowhere. Like his game's in the toilet. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one. I mean, Oakmont, probably quite a good setting for him. Long driver of the golf ball, strong enough to get out that tough rough. He's a good putter, clearly, and those greens are treacherous when it comes to putting. So you could see a bounce back from Bryson at the US Open. You really could.
Yeah.
It seems to be the place that his game is suited to.
Yeah.
It would seem he's always got to them, so definitely would seem that way. But Mike's asking, who do you think is the next big Masters story now that Rory's completed his? Is it Rosie with the stat of the most rounds leading without winning? How do you think he does the rest of the season? So what's the next Masters story?
There's nobody else trying to get the Grand Slam, right?
The next one is...
Xander won the Open and the PGA last year?
Well, I would say Xander won the Open and the PGA, yep. There's a few that like if Xander collects one, he's on the cusp of the career Grand Slam. If Morikawa collects one, and he's been great, both of them have actually been good round there. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of pressure. I think the sort of prince waiting to be the king is Ludwig. I mean, back to back, first and second appearances, he's been incredible round there. So he clearly knows how to play the golf course. He has the game and the patience to play the golf course. I mean, really, yesterday at one point, he looked like the one that was going to do what Rose done. Yeah. He was the one hitting the shots. I mean, how many putts did he miss yesterday? Like, he missed a ton of putts yesterday.
And he finished bogey triple.
Bogey triple to
fall back.
Exactly. So, like, if you say he finishes par birdie...
He would have finished at 11 under.
Right.
10 under.
10, would he? What did he finish there? 6.
He got down to 6.
No, so if he finished par birdie, he finishes
11.
Yeah, so he's also right there. So, like, if he, finishes the way, better than Rory, because Rory and Rosie both went bogey birdie and birdie bogey respectively. So I think he's the one.
The Masters is the best because people will try their best to, like, even everyone was saying, oh, it's only a 2-horse race. Yeah. One of those horses blew a wheel and then the other one came in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like any time that you try and be like, this guy's going to get done. Spieth almost, what was he, 5 up in 2016 or something like that? Mm-hmm. Then he blows it on the back 9. It's
16,
like,
2016
it's never
Danny
over.
Willett. Yeah, totally.
And like Rory could have missed that putt. Rose could have made the putt.
Yeah.
And then that's the story. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel like U.S. Opens and stuff, usually people can grab big enough leads that it becomes boring Sundays.
Totally. How do you think the rest of the season goes for Rosie?
I don't know.
Do you think he kind of finds himself in contention again?
Well, he's got to be a lock for the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's made enough points already.
He's got to be.
A T2 has to get him that.
Yeah. He's got to be. I think, well, we said, he's probably, his two best opportunities are Augusta and the Open, because they're the two that length isn't really the be all and end all superpower. He is long enough to win Augusta clearly, and the Open is, as he showed, is a bit more like he qualified to play in that last Open. So like he's got enough experience that he can fiddle his way into contention. The big thing for me is Augusta's a big ballpark that big name players. Look at the last champions: Rory, Scotty, Rahm, Scotty, Hideki. Is that your
Hideki, Justin Rose, Reed, Sergio? We're all in there. Willett.
So in the last one, so DJ was what, 2020.
I always forget about DJs because it was randomly in November.
I want to say now it's Rory, Scotty, Rahm, Scotty, Hideki, DJ.
Yeah. Then Tiger.
Right?
Patrick Reed,
So-
Sergio.
Yeah. So look at that in that window of the last 6 winners. Big name players.
Yeah.
Like big,
You could say the last 9 winners were big, going all the way back to basically Willett, kind of.
Yeah. I mean,
Sergio was huge.
Sergio was a big name. Yeah, Willett is the one where it's like, no. Like Bubba at that time was
Huge.
top player. Adam Scott, Bubba was a top player. Charles Schwartz was a surprise, obviously. Mickelson, but like then you're in the Tiger and Phil.
Tiger Phil.
Crazy.
Mike Weir,
Tiger.
Tiger.
So it does throw in a surprise from time to time, but it typically is where the marquee names really show up. Okay, let's see. James is asking, I think Rory getting the Redemption Masters could light a fire in Jordan Spieth and try to redeem himself as well. We'll see. I don't know. James, sometime before it happens yet, but does the proposed golf ball rollback benefit these longer guys like Bryson even more so when it comes into effect? I do. I think the rollback, I personally think the rollback effect has a benefit for the guys with more club speed upside. I definitely do.
Are they doing the ball rollback?
Mm-hmm. Was it 2030?
Oh.
Something like that. I think it comes in 2030.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think guys with speed will.
I don't know enough about the technology, but if it's just a percentage thing, then the longer guys will still be longer.
Yeah.
They'll just be hitting it 300 instead of 340. But then the guys that hit it 300 are going to be hitting it 260 instead of 300.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, won't it? It'll be interesting to see if there's an optimization window that people try and get more optimized. Like right now, you can be fast and still squeeze it a bit. Like I think of Minwoo Lee. Like every time the TrackMan gets his data, it's like 190 ball speed, 192 ball speed, carry 295.
Mm-hmm.
So he's clearly not optimized, but if he optimizes that, he could be longer than he is right now, even with the rolled back golf ball. Mm-hmm. So like someone like he's another one. Like Minwoo Lee to me in the next few years could be on that Masters Champions list. Like, he'd be the type of player that I think could really show well. Brew Crew's asking, what was Scotty as big a name before he won his first Masters? No, he wasn't. I don't think before he won his first Masters he was as big a name as the ones that we're talking about, like Rahm and those guys. No.
Watch Scotty Scheffler's Full Swing. I thought that was a really good episode. Because I didn't realize, because they talk about how basically when he combined with Ted Scott, he was in like a dark place.
Oh, yeah.
And Ted Scott basically said to him, I think you can be number 1 in the world,
Right.
but we got to fix your attitude. And I'm not going to, and he he was like, I'm not going to carry your bag if you're going to be
I love that.
like this. Like, I
Thought it was
can't
brilliant.
handle that.
I really thought that was
So it's like funny.
so
He's
good.
like the most calm, resilient.
Yeah.
He'll make a 3-putt. He'll do this, and then like as cool as can be. But they show in Netflix,
Yeah.
it's like all of his flashbacks are him yelling at himself and throwing his putter and breaking things, and he had like a serious
He was a hothead.
issue.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And I think it wasn't until he just let the courses come to him, the same way Rory finally did this year.
Totally. I mean, it's amazing that it's just taken till now for the penny to drop for Rory that, you know, continue hitting quality golf shots and the kind of results take care of themselves. And he's had to watch somebody else do it before he realised, like, I think he thought he could bring every golf course to its knees with his driver and his wedges. You know, and he just, obviously not going to be the way. All right, guys, let's jump in for a few more questions. Obviously, very Masters dominated today. Unsuitable saying, I think when he changes to the LA driver, his drives are going to take a hit, but the irons will improve. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see where his game goes after he changes. Obviously, new driver coming, new irons coming. It's a big change.
He's never going to be happy.
No, he's not. He's not.
With equipment. But that's okay. That's like who he is. Maybe that's a distraction, but like last year, he switched heads into the final round at the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Or was that the Masters last year? One of them he was leading, and he switched heads. And I think it was the U.S. Open, and he won. And he drove it terribly the last day.
It was the U.S. Open. He flattened the face, didn't he? He said he flattened the face.
He had 2 of them on the range, and people were like, why would you change from what got you here? But like, that's just who he is.
Yeah. No, it's true.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing either. Maybe that's just something he's constantly trying to search for perfection. And keeping that foot down, trying to get faster is like what has caused him to have success and get his majors.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Does Brody's asking, does Rory ride the momentum and win all the majors back to back? It's huge. It's a huge ask. But I think to claim multiple, yes. To claim them all, I would. I mean, as much as we were talking about a few weeks ago, I would say no. What do you think? Can he win them all?
Like he can. That's the thing. We're talking about someone who can. He can do it. Will he do it? It's just entirely up to him. I don't know what his temperament's going to be. Is this going to cause like a hangover? You know, like you saw the exorcism going on the green. It's going to be hard for him to go play his next event. That
type of emotional. I mean, honestly, like. This is a little deeper than just talking about yesterday. That type of emotional event leaves a mark on your body. And now it could be for the positive, right? But when you have certain things happen to you, and this goes deep into sort of like a little bit into psychology world. Events. And this is why people talk about affirmations and how self-talk and the value of self-talk versus the harm of self-talk. If you continuously say something or you do something or you have these events, it basically creates grooves in your brain. And this is a fact, medical fact. It creates grooves in your brain. That must have been some kind of, I don't know if it's the opposite of trauma, but what he went through yesterday, that's got to leave an impact. Some kind of emotional dump that I don't know which side of the direction he'll go. Is it to the moon, or will, like you're saying, like could he fall back? Could it take something from him? Because it was his ultimate drive. Because he said many times, like I could win the Masters and I could retire.
Yeah.
I think that's a hypothetical. Like as long as I get that Masters done, like I'm good at that point. Career Grand Slam, I'm good. I don't think he wants that, but like what is it going to leave as an impact?
I don't know.
Tough one, eh?
I'd be interested if you talked to him on January 1st this year, like what were your goals of the year?
Oh man.
It was Masters, but now that he's done that, is it like
I think it's a good thing he's not world number one, because Scotty is still the hair.
Okay, yeah.
right? Until he is world number 1 back and he's claimed, like, I don't think that's his, you know, that was his next goal, but his next goal is to be relentless and achieve world number 1 and put it beyond you and I even being able to have a debate about it. I think that's probably what's next for him. It's interesting.
Is he coming to the Canadian Open this year?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's coming on the channel. We're going to have him on the channel. We're playing around with him. Decker, get it sorted.
Practice round with Rory.
Aye. All right, what's going on? Let's see. Last question. Which one's good for the last question? Brew Cruise, in my opinion, Bryson realises he doesn't quite have the talent that some others do, so he's trying to squeeze every ounce of performance he can out of equipment to get that edge. You agree with that?
I think there's some validity to that for sure. But there's nothing wrong with that.
I would say I agree with the second half. I don't agree with the fact he thinks he doesn't have the talent. I think he thinks he has the same talent level that everyone else has. That's on quite an equal footing. But the equipment can tip things into his advantage, so he has more of an advantage than the rest. Right. I don't think he thinks of it as some way that he can get level with a Rory. I actually think that he thinks that the way he does it is equal to anyone on the planet, and he can outthink them to give himself the edge. That's the way I would look at it.
Yeah. If you want to be great, you have to be also delusional.
Yeah.
Like the guys who don't get it done, like Justin Rose and stuff like that, like you could probably argue that if you asked him, he would be the kind of guy who would be like, oh, I'm not the best. But then there's the other guys like Taylor, like as much as people like to make fun of the Taylor Gooch thing and stuff like that, you need to have self-belief and you need to believe that you are just as good as anyone. Because I feel like if you aren't tricking yourself into believing that, then you're not going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the guys that fall apart because the whole time they're sitting there on Saturday and Sunday being like, I don't even deserve to be winning this Open Championship. How did I get into this spot?
You've got to have a why not me type of attitude, right? Somebody's going to win this week. Why not me? You've got to go into every single tournament, every single playoff, whatever it is, and think, well, why not me? You have to.
I think you can take that even to like club play. At our level and stuff.
Whatever,
you play with the guy who wins the club champion, and you're just like, he's not better than me. He's just, I know he's beating me, but also you're like, there's no reason why I couldn't play boring golf like him.
Totally.
So you know what I mean?
So I do. I think that's the way. I think when Koepka was talking a few years ago, like he felt like he only had like a few players to beat at that time. It was because he had that attitude. Yeah. That he's like, I know I'm capable of winning this. I know lots of people don't believe they're capable of winning this. Therefore, the field is actually only 20 deep or 15 deep. Why not? And then at that point, why not me? I think that's the way he went about it, which is cool.
Like, half the people are going to beat themselves. Half the people are going to do, and he just like dwindled it down to being like, there's 6 of us out there.
Totally. I think that's the way their mindset is. Anyway, quick segue, guys. I want to thank all of you. How many do we have in the live here? 173, great. Live. I want to thank all of you who are on the live for getting us to 50,000 subscribers. That's a huge milestone and a really, really proud one for the three of us, for me, Kody, Casey behind the camera. We're just talking about that this morning. We're all so proud that we've gotten to 50K within 4 months. And that's down to you guys. We've really enjoyed the last 4 months. I think the content has been a breath of fresh air for us to film. And, every time we do these videos, we all look at each other and then go, I think that's going to be a good one. And there's the kind of those moments that I think are really, really cool. We love doing it and we love that you guys like the content and enjoy us bringing it to you. So,
and we read the comments.
We do. We read.
So
we're always in there.
Video ideas, or there are things that you're looking for, like we'll see those.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. We'll be giving away a mattress for a 100K giveaway. Don't know if this channel's. Don't know if it's quite get enough prestige to be giving the mattress away, but if we can get to 100,000 by the end of the year, that's our goal right now, isn't it? Yeah. That's going to be an ask. It's going to be a tough one to get to. But if we can get to 100,000 by the end of the year, trust me, we will come up with something pretty cool, pretty substantial for the 100K giveaway. You know, I think for all of us to get that plaque, you know, I've obviously done it once with the TXG channel, and to kind of get, I think the three of us to get that YouTube plaque.
Very cool.
It would be very cool.
Yeah.
It really, really would be. So let's do it. Let's do it. All right, guys. Postmasters breakdown felt like more like a therapy session.
I know.
I think we all went through the mill over the last week. But yeah, it's cool to see, you know, Rory just look like a happy man today. You know, some pictures of him like late last night, walking around the locker room and all that sort of stuff. He just looks like a happy camper. You know, one person's happiness is another person's sadness. So Bryson, Justin, you know, I'm sure Scotty to a degree, they'll be waking up this morning, you know, like a bear with a sore head and having that chip in their shoulder. You know, I think everyone's going to be tipping Rory for the US Open. Wait to see Scotty at the US Open. Sorry, the PGA, the Quail Hollow. It's the next one, isn't it? I think wait till you see...
he didn't, sorry, I know we're ending this. He didn't look like he liked putting that jacket on him.
He didn't one bit, did he?
No. And I know that they're like, they got to be tailor-made friends, like they hang out. I'm sure, not hang out, but like...
They'll be okay with each other.
I think they're acquaintances,
Yeah.
like they're always on shoots together and stuff. I don't think there's like bad blood, but
No.
I don't think he loved that.
He looked like he had a bit of a...
Winners like winning, and they hate losing.
Yeah.
And he's talked about that, he hates losing.
And Ted Scott said that about him, didn't he? He said he's just, like he hates losing at anything, so...
So him also being not in the mix, but I'm sure that he's delusional too in the sense that he believed, like, I just need, you know what I mean? He was kind of close. Totally. Still a top 5.
I know. All right, you guys, hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. Stay tuned for lots of content. What we got coming out this week, tomorrow. Today was the how to hit a fade with distance, with max distance. Hopefully you guys enjoy that one. I think that's something that lots of people think is an either or. Fade for accuracy or draw for distance. So go check that one out if you want to hit it further and straighter. We have some fitness-related equipment content coming. We record a couple of workouts that you guys can do in the gym or also at home that I think will be pretty cool. Yeah, and lots more good stuff to come.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. We'll see you again soon.